Welcome back, Journeyman, to episode 7 of the Journeyman podcast.
7 already.
I know, right? It feels like we just started.
Time flies when you're having these deep dives.
It really does. And speaking of deep dives, today we're diving into the world of Bek Lover.
Oh yeah, this should be interesting. He's certainly got some unique views.
That's one way to put it. But that's why we're here, right? To explore ideas, to look at things from different angles, and, always grounded in evidence and truth.
Evidence and truth, exactly. And if you're enjoying these explorations with us, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Absolutely. We love having you along for the ride. Okay, so Bek Lover.
Now, he comes from a secular Albanian Muslim family, so not exactly the background you'd expect for someone delving so deeply into these topics.
Right, and that's what makes his journey so fascinating. He didn't just inherit these beliefs. It was a personal quest for understanding, for truth.
Yeah, he really emphasizes that. Like, understand your own faith, your own beliefs before you go judging others.
And he really highlights those common threads between religions, especially Islam, Christianity, and Judaism.
The shared beliefs, like God, Jesus, Mary, Judgment Day.
He even goes into the linguistics.
Oh yeah, the Aramaic words for God, Il and Elohim.
So close to Allah.
It makes you think, doesn't it, about how much we actually share.
It really does. But then he takes this really interesting turn.
Oh yeah, here we go. The aliens.
Well, he calls them aliens, but he argues that they might actually be a manifestation of the demonic realm. He brings up the Islamic concept of Jinn.
Being of smokeless fire, living in a different dimension with free will. Predating humans, even.
And not all Jinn are evil, but some are, and they're aligned with Satan.
Trying to mislead humanity.
Right, and he ties this to the occult, these secret societies and ancient civilizations that supposedly interacted with these beings.
Now, the word occult can be a bit loaded, right?
It definitely has a certain mystique to it, but essentially it refers to knowledge and practices related to, hidden spiritual forces and manipulating them.
And this is where he brings up figures like Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons.
Crowley, the occultist, and Parsons, the rocket scientist.
Lovers suggesting that their involvement with the occult might have influenced their work, even shaped technological advancements.
So are we saying our tech progress is demonically inspired? That's a pretty big claim.
Well, Lover's not exactly presenting hard scientific evidence. He's connecting dots, looking for patterns.
He's urging us to think about the influences behind our progress.
To question whether there might be forces at play we don't fully grasp.
Okay, so where does this alleged manipulation lead? What's the big picture here?
Lover's particularly worried about this push towards a one-world government, and he sees technology like blockchain and cryptocurrency as playing a role.
Hold on, crypto is part of this demonic scheme.
Well, he connects it to the idea of the Antichrist, this figure that's going to deceive humanity and establish a tyrannical global regime.
Whoa, okay, for our listeners who might not be totally familiar with these technologies.
So blockchain is like a digital ledger recording transactions securely. Cryptocurrency is like Bitcoin run on this blockchain.
So decentralized, anonymous transactions. What's the problem? Why is Lover worried?
It's the potential for control. He's afraid these technologies could be used to create a system where one entity, maybe this Antichrist, controls all the finances, dictates behavior.
He specifically mentions central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs.
Right, those are digital versions of a country's currency issued by the central bank. Not like Bitcoin. These are centralized, controlled by the government.
So his worry is governments could use these CBDCs to monitor every single transaction. No more financial privacy, unprecedented power.
Exactly. He imagines a scenario where your access to everything is controlled. Goods, services, even necessities, based on your behavior, your compliance, your views.
That's chillin', straight out of dystopian fiction.
Well, whether it actually happens is debatable, but the fact is, governments are exploring these CBDCs. It's a trend worth watching, considering the implications.
Definitely makes you think about the balance between security, convenience, and freedom in our digital world. Sounds like Lover's urging us to be cautious, to really think about the consequences before we just embrace all this new tech.
Absolutely. Awareness, informed decisions, and a healthy dose of skepticism are never bad things.
All right, so we've covered religion, aliens, the occult, and technology. A lot to process.
And we're just getting started.
There's more.
Oh yeah, remember the evil eye?
Oh, right. The concept that envy or negative energy directed at someone can actually cause them harm.
It's been around for centuries in many cultures and religions. Lover believes it's a real form of spiritual attack.
He actually claims to have experienced it firsthand. Debilitating anxiety, depression, nothing helped until he tried a
water cleansing ritual.
Right. Water charged with prayers and intentions, basically holy water to cleanse and protect from these negative spiritual forces. This personal experience really seems to drive his beliefs.
And he's not alone in believing in the evil eye. It's a deeply rooted concept, often blamed for misfortune, illness, even death.
He even points to the high rates of depression and anxiety among celebrities. suggesting they're bombarded with so much envy and negativity that it manifests as a spiritual illness.
And therapy can't help, he says, because it's a spiritual problem, not a psychological one.
So if therapy's not the answer, what is? How do you protect yourself from the evil eye?
Lover emphasizes spiritual cleansing, protection, this water ritual, seeking protection directly from God, prayer, purification.
Direct connection with the divine, not relying on external objects.
Exactly. He specifically warns against amulets and charms, sees them as a form of idolatry.
Putting faith in objects instead of a higher power. It seems like this emphasis on personal responsibility, spiritual connection, is a recurring theme with him.
Absolutely. And it ties into his views on good and evil, free will, our duty to resist temptation and choose good.
He often quotes the Quran, "Do not oppress and do not be oppressed."
Powerful words.
He's got a rather blunt way of putting it sometimes.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't sugarcoat things. He says when we just focus on our base desires,
Eat, drink, suck, fuck, as he so eloquently puts it.
we become no better than animals. It's a stark analogy, but it emphasizes his belief that we have a higher purpose.
A responsibility to strive for something beyond just our instincts.
We have the power to choose, to elevate ourselves, to connect with something greater. Choosing to succumb to our base desires, that's betraying that potential.
This constant struggle, choosing good over evil, it's central to his whole worldview. But where does music fit into all this? Because he has some pretty strong opinions about music, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is where things get really interesting. Lover believes music actually has demonic origins.
Wait, all music is evil. I love music.
He's not saying all music is inherently evil, but he does trace its origins to darkness. There's this tradition where Satan, disguised, teaches the children of Cain how to make music, play instruments.
And this music was used to lure in the children of Adam.
Exactly, leading to their mingling and the creation of, well, the weekend as we know it.
So partying is demonic too. Are we supposed to just sit in silence all the time?
He's not condemning music or partying outright. He's highlighting how even seemingly innocent things can be used for manipulation. Remember, he believes we're under constant spiritual attack. We need to be aware of the influences around us, even in the seemingly harmless things.
It's a different perspective, that's for sure. Makes you wonder about the hidden meanings and intentions behind so much of what we just take for granted. Okay, so we talked about crypto and the Antichrist, but what else does Lover have to say about technology?
He believes certain technological advancements are directly influenced by the demonic realm.
Again,
He keeps coming back to it. He points to Crowley and Parsons again, involved in both the occult and scientific fields.
so they were like conduits, receiving knowledge and inspiration from demonic entities to advance technology in specific directions.
That's his theory. He's urging us to question the origins and motivations behind certain technologies, to be mindful of their potential for control and manipulation.
So should we all just ditch our smartphones and live off the grid?
Not necessarily. He uses social media himself to spread his message. It's more about awareness. We shouldn't blindly embrace every new gadget or platform without considering the impact on our lives, our freedoms, our connection to something greater than ourselves.
It's about conscious engagement with technology, understanding its power and using it wisely, not becoming enslaved by it.
Every choice we make, every technology we embrace, has consequences for ourselves and for society as a whole.
This is some seriously deep stuff. We've explored religion, aliens, the occult, technology, the evil eye, our responsibility to choose good over evil. It's a lot to digest.
And we're not done yet.
There's more.
Oh yeah, Lover's just getting warmed up. We still need to delve into his views on the end times, the future of humanity, and how we can navigate this complex and ever-changing world.
Well, Journeyman, if you're enjoying this exploration of Bek Lover's fascinating and, let's face it, often controversial views, hit that like button and subscribe to the Journeyman podcast for more mind-expanding deep dives.
We'll be back soon with part 2, where we'll dig even deeper into the implications of Lover's beliefs. Stay tuned. So we were talking about the end times.
Oh yeah, Lover really seems to believe we're living in those end times.
He really embraces it, like uses it as a call to action for humanity.
Right, like this is a time of immense change, upheaval.
He even pulls out specific signs mentioned in prophecies, both Christian and Islamic.
Yeah, he says we're seeing those signs play out right now.
Like those massive skyscrapers in Arabia, for instance, and how technology is disrupting families.
And even like traditional gender roles becoming blurred.
He sees all that as fulfilling those ancient predictions.
But, I mean, couldn't you say those things are just natural progression? Society's always changing, evolving.
Sure, yeah, and that's what makes Lover so interesting, right? He's not just saying the end is nigh, he's making us question, look around, consider different perspectives.
So it's about engaging with these ideas, forming our own interpretations.
Exactly. It's not blind acceptance. It's awareness and critical thinking.
And this is where his focus on personal responsibility comes in. We have a choice to make, right?
Right. Give in to the chaos and darkness or stand against it, fight for something better.
He really hammers home that we can't just sit back and watch. Got to actively choose good, resist those baser instincts.
Complacency is not an option, basically.
He doesn't offer any easy answers, though, does he?
No, no magic formula. It's about conscious effort, a daily commitment to what's right.
Taking responsibility for our actions.
How they impact the world around us.
It's like a spiritual vigilance, a constant awareness.
Yeah. Of those forces at play both inside us and out in the world.
Being mindful, discerning, proactive.
And that vigilance extends to how we engage with technology, too.
Right, beyond just the crypto and blockchain concerns.
Oh, yeah, he gets into AI, artificial intelligence, worried about its potential for manipulation, control.
Paints a pretty bleak picture, AI eroding our freedoms even further.
Creating a system of surveillance and control worse than anything we've seen.
It's certainly a chilly thought.
But it's not unrealistic either. Think about it. We're already seeing algorithms shaping our perceptions, influencing our choices.
Even manipulating our emotions.
Exactly. Lover's just taking it a step further, imagining those capabilities amplified, used by those in power for their own agenda.
He's not saying it's inevitable, though, right?
No, but he's urging caution. Be mindful how we develop and integrate these powerful technologies.
Ask those tough questions. Consider the ethical implications before it's too late.
And that's the power of his message. It's not about doom and gloom. It's about empowerment.
We have control of our destinies, individually and collectively.
Recognize that we have a say in shaping the future.
Our choices matter.
They really do. So where does all this leave us, the average person listening?
Are we just supposed to be terrified of aliens, demons, and rogue AI all the time?
Haha, no, not at all. Remember, Lover's core message is truth and knowledge.
Question everything, seek understanding, use that knowledge to make informed choices.
He's not giving us a map to salvation, more like a toolkit for navigating this crazy world.
Critical thinking applied to every aspect of our life.
Exactly. So discernment, critical thinking, taking responsibility.
Recognizing we're not just pawns in some cosmic game.
We have agency, we can shape our destinies, influence the course of history.
A message of empowerment, not despair.
Exactly. And while some of his claims might seem, out there.
A little bit, yeah.
We got to remember he's drawing on traditions and beliefs that have been around for centuries.
He's not making this stuff up, just reframing it for today.
Making it relevant to our modern anxieties, the challenges we face.
Yeah, he connects those ideas from religion, spirituality, tech, even pop culture.
Creates a narrative that really resonates with people.
Even if they don't agree with everything he says.
That's the beauty of it. He sparks these conversations, challenges assumptions, gets people engaging with these ideas in a real way.
Whether you agree with him or not, he's definitely having an impact, making people think, question, reevaluate their own beliefs.
He's making us confront some uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world around us.
Look beyond the surface, grapple with the complexities of existence.
And that pushes us to evolve, to grow, become more conscious.
But what about those more, mystical elements, the water cleansing, the evil eye, the demonic realm?
Yeah, I can see how those might be hard for some people to accept.
Especially those who approach the world from a purely rational scientific perspective?
Yeah, but those concepts represent ways of understanding the world that have been around for a long time, passed down for generations.
They might not fit into our modern science box, but they still hold meaning for many.
He's not presenting them as scientific fact, more like alternative ways of perceiving reality.
Recognizing that there might be more to the world than what we can see and measure with our instruments.
And even if you don't buy into those specific things, there's a deeper message about the power of ritual, intention, spiritual practice.
It's about that human need for meaning, connection, something greater than ourselves.
He's showing us alternative ways of coping with the anxieties of modern life.
Going beyond therapy or medication.
They might not work for everyone, but for some, they offer solace, empowerment.
It's about finding what works for you, what helps you feel grounded, connected, resilient.
And that transcends any one belief system.
It's a universal need, that search for meaning, purpose, connection.
And Lover's just offering his perspective on how to achieve that, using his own experiences and ancient wisdom.
But we got to acknowledge his views can be polarizing.
Oh yeah, he's not afraid to be bold, and some of his claims might rub people the wrong way.
He doesn't shy away from controversy, that's for sure.
But that's what makes him so interesting. He's shaking things up, making us think critically about things we take for granted.
I think it's crucial to approach his ideas with an open mind. Listen, try to understand his reasoning.
Even if you don't agree with his conclusions, there's value in engaging with the different perspectives.
Challenging our own assumptions?
Expanding our understanding.
That's the spirit of the Journeyman podcast, isn't it?
Exploring uncharted territories, venturing beyond our comfort zones.
Embracing the unknown.
Engaging with ideas that make us think differently.
Seeing the world from new angles.
And being open to new ideas, even if they make us uncomfortable.
Because that discomfort could be a catalyst for growth, learning, expanding our understanding.
It's in those moments we often discover the most profound truths.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into Bek Lover,
I want you to reflect on what you've heard.
what resonated with you? What challenged you? What left you with more questions than answers?
'Cause that's the journey, isn't it? Exploration, questioning, discovery.
We're all in this together, navigating the complexities of this world, trying to make sense of it all.
Stay tuned for part 3 of our deep dive.
Where we'll go even deeper into Lover's controversial claims.
His insights on ancient mysteries.
And his vision for the future of humanity.
And don't forget to like and subscribe
to the Journeyman Podcast for more thought-provoking explorations. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, keep on your journey.
Safe travels, Journeyman.
Welcome back, Journeyman, to the final part of our Bek Lover deep dive. It's been quite a ride, from religion to aliens, the occult, technology. It feels like we've covered so much ground.
We have, and as we wrap this up, I think it's worth highlighting this idea that there's more to reality than meets the eye. It's a theme that runs through all of Lover's beliefs.
He's always pushing us to look beyond the surface, question what we think we know, consider that there might be forces at work we don't fully understand.
He almost makes it sound like the world's a lot more, well, mysterious and magical than we realize.
Yeah, drawing on ancient wisdom, religious texts, personal experiences, he paints this picture of a reality that's way more complex than what we see on the surface.
Like our 5 senses are just giving us a tiny glimpse of a much grander picture.
Right? And maybe there are entire realms of existence we just can't perceive with our current understanding.
Which is where his emphasis on intuition, spiritual discernment comes in.
He seems to think we all have this ability to sense those unseen forces, to tap into a deeper wisdom that goes beyond our rational minds.
Almost like trusting your gut feeling. When something feels off, even if you can't logically explain it.
He's definitely pushing for a more holistic way of understanding the world.
One that embraces reason and intuition, science and spirituality.
And this is where I think the evil eye concept fits in. That idea that negative energy, a spiritual attack, can really harm us.
Drain our energy, cloud our judgment, even make us physically sick.
It might sound superstitious to some, but it speaks to this idea that we're not just physical beings.
We exist on multiple levels. Physical, emotional, spiritual. What affects one level can impact the others.
And Lover's convinced the evil eye is real. He even shared that personal experience.
The crippling anxiety and depression he couldn't shake.
He believes it was a spiritual attack. And this concept, it's not unique, right? Lots of cultures have traditions around the evil eye.
Often tied to envy, jealousy, negative intentions.
And his solution. The water cleansing ritual.
Water infused with prayers' intentions, a spiritual antidote.
It seems simple, but it highlights the power of intention, belief.
The connection between our physical and spiritual selves.
Like our thoughts and beliefs can actually influence reality.
It all circles back to his belief that there's more to reality than we can see and measure. And our thoughts, beliefs, intentions, they have a real impact.
It's interesting how this connects with that growing movement of people searching for alternative healing, spiritual growth.
He's tapping into this deep yearning for meaning, purpose, connection, especially in a world that often feels so fragmented.
Like he's offering a different set of tools to deal with modern life. Tools that draw on ancient wisdom, spiritual practices.
Not about rejecting science or reason, but recognizing that they might not have all the answers.
There could be other ways of understanding and interacting with the world that can benefit us, empower us.
And I think it's important to acknowledge Lover's views aren't for everyone.
Definitely polarized, as some find his claims outrageous, even offensive.
He's not afraid to stir the pot, that's for sure.
But that's what makes him so interesting. He's challenging the status quo, making us think critically.
That's the mark of a true thought leader.
Love him or hate him, he's making people think.
Starting conversations, forcing us to confront some tough questions.
And I think it's so important to approach his ideas with an open mind.
Listen, try to understand where he's coming from.
Even if you disagree with his conclusions, there's value in engaging with different perspectives.
Challenging our own assumptions, broadening our understanding.
And that's what we're all about here on the Journeyman Podcast, right?
Exploring the unknown, pushing those boundaries, embracing new ideas.
Being open to things that challenge us, make us uncomfortable.
Because that discomfort can lead to growth, to learning.
So as we close out this deep dive into Bek Lover, I want to leave you with some questions to think about.
What resonated with you? What challenged you? What left you wanting to learn more?
Because ultimately, that's what this is all about, isn't it? This constant exploration, questioning, discovery.
We're all on this journey together, trying to make sense of this world.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe to the Journeyman Podcast for more mind-expanding explorations.
Keep your mind open, your heart's curious.
And your spirits ignited. Safe travels, Journeyman.